Hey there, cowboy.
Stand proud, you crazy diamonds. Curses and madness be upon you all. I am Euclidean Vision, the emotional support, here today to share with you the first of five, hero concepts I've constructed for the ever-elusive Echo. I've spent more than enough time talking about her potential story implications, so there'll be none of that nonsense here today, and we're going to jump right into her kit with this first of three support builds that I call Resonant Echo, the Sonic Stand. Now, this iteration of Echo is designed as a main support, intended to work best in close formation to the rest of their team, providing them with stable healing and additional movement options. Their playstyle should feel reminiscent of Lucio and Moira, with little touches of Anna thrown in for good measure. And so now we move into the kit proper, starting with Resonant Echo's core stats. So starting with the most basic aspect, Echo's hitbox. As she's going to be quite a standard support, we're not going to see her vary too much from that standardized sort of size. The existing hero she's probably most similar in shape to would be Mercy, given the wings, but given her particular body design, she could be slightly different in size or shape eventually. Best we know, she's a little bit shorter than McCree. And so moving to her base move speed, there's no need for it to be any different from anyone else, so she will move at 5.5 meters per second, but as with Zenyatta and Sigma, she does float, so she will not make footstep noises. And onto her health pool, as again she's going to be quite the standard support. 200 HP total makes perfect sense for me with this iteration of Echo. But I'm going to break her health pool up ultimately into 100 health and 100 shields, same as Symmetra. This is due to a few reasons, partly due to the recurring theme of Omnix not having purely health-based health pools, unless we're playing with the idea that she was once a human. Plenty of people have made the attachment between Echo and shield health because there's maybe suggestions she's linked to Vishkar, unsure. This build's ultimate also uses shield health particularly, and the build overall has quite low self-healing, so we'll maybe need to rely on that 100 shields to stay alive. And so onto the kit proper, first looking at a passive, and this build of Echo doesn't have a passive. I could have gone with a sort of reactive sonar passive like I've used with my Link 17 kit, but it didn't exactly fit the build, playstyle or character anywhere near as well as it does that one. And on top of that, I feel this build just doesn't really need a passive to do what it does. This will not always be the case for the future Echo builds, however. So moving on to her primary weapon, the Biosonic Pulsars. Echo's wings resonate to emit sonic pulses, damaging enemies and healing allies in a cone in front of her. The Biosonic Pulsars deal flat instances of 40 damage and 40 healing to enemies and allies respectively. It fires once every 0.8 seconds and has a relatively small ammo clip of 8 maximum, with a reload time of 1.5 seconds, same as every other support. The most particular aspect to the Biosonic Pulsars, however, is its range, which is 10 meters at max and 4 meters wide at its widest at the end of the cone. Any enemy or ally hit by this cone will take their respective amount of damage or healing instantaneously as a flat amount. So as you can see, it's essentially a healing shotgun. The low ammo count and low relative instance of damage and healing per shot is there to limit how effective this weapon can be. It's very useful at close ranges, but at anything beyond that it's utterly useless. But then in those close ranges you can damage and heal at the same time. But you will also have to choose your shots wisely due to the low ammo supply. And so we move on to Echo's alt fire, Pressure Front. Echo's wings create a pressure wave ahead of her, knocking back any enemies, and leaving behind a wind tunnel that increases ally movement speed in the given direction. Now the Pressure Front is a 5 meter wide circular projectile that travels at 30 meters a second up to its full range of 30 meters long. Any enemy caught within this projectile's travel time will be knocked back 10 meters and take 40 damage. Once the projectile has finished its travel time and the wind tunnel has been placed, any ally moving in that wind tunnel gains 50% extra movement speed in that direction only. Pressure Front's wind tunnel lasts for 10 seconds and goes on cooldown once placed for 12. This has a relatively long uptime as it's designed to only speed you in one direction, but to give you enough of a window to actually use the wind tunnel once you've placed it. Once you've placed it, it's set. This is a do or die maneuver if you're going to use it. And speaking of setting, leads us to the Resonant Echo's first ability, her shift ability, Cyclone Trap. Echo plants a trap in the form of a pressurized ball of air, that will detonate on enemy contact, knocking them briefly into the air. Allies can interact with the Cyclone to jump themselves to higher ground while gaining a slow heal over time, and it is very important to note that Echo has 2 charges of Cyclone Trap. And so the trap itself functions similarly to Symmetra's teleporter. It has a 15 meter maximum placement range, and once placed there is a cast time of 1.5 seconds before the trap is set. Once the trap is set, its area of effect for both enemies and allies is 1.5 meters, same as Symmetra's teleporter, and the trap has 50 effective health. As a pressurized ball of air, you can deal damage to it to disturb it and cancel its effect. If an enemy strays into the area of effect, they will take 40 damage and be knocked up into the air for 3 seconds, 0.6 seconds of which they will have no aerial movement control, same as a Doomfist uppercut. If an ally interacts with the Cyclone Trap, they will be propelled 5 meters into the air and gain a heal over time of 120 healing over 4 seconds. Again, it should be noted that Echo has 2 charges of Cyclone Trap, and the cooldown on each is 10 seconds. A further more important note to make would be that this is Echo's only method of self-healing outside of her shield health. And so on to Echo's second ability, her E ability, Sonic Sigh. Echo channels a continuous sonic wave from her mouth of either a healing or damaging variety. The healing version additionally increases healing from other sources, while the damage version also slows enemies down. Sonic Sigh is a short channeled ability that can be cast at any time amid your other abilities, even your primary fire, as all of Resonant Echo's other abilities are channeled through her wings. The channel lasts 1.5 seconds, and during this time Echo will emit 5 waves of either damage or healing. Each of the 5 waves of Sonic Sigh will deal either 30 healing or 20 damage depending on which version is chosen, for a total of 150 healing or 100 damage. This sonic wave has the same range as her primary fire, so is essentially just a rapid fire version of her primary fire designed to implement extra effects at any given time to supplement her base healing. Each of the 5 waves carries a certain percentage buff or debuff that can stack on top of each other. When the damage version is chosen, any enemies affected will be slowed by 10% of their base movement speed per wave. This slow will last 3 seconds from the final wave to hit an enemy, up to a maximum of a 50% slow. When the healing version is chosen, each wave that hits an ally will increase the healing that they receive from other sources by 10%, again up to a maximum of 50% extra healing for 3 seconds. And like its comparative abilities Biotic Orb and Biotic Grenade, Sonic Sigh has a 10-second cooldown. As mentioned, this is meant to be an instant cast ability designed to help close by allies and supplement your base healing, but can also be used to help you make an escape if necessary. And so by this point you're probably wondering why the stand reference at the beginning and in the thumbnail, as we come to pretty much the core reason that this build was named what it was. Resonant Echo's ultimate, Resonant Echo. Echo dashes to a target ally and attaches herself to their body like a stand, providing personal protection to that single ally, gifting them 1000 shield health and immunity to hard crowd control. Echo herself has her physical movement limited to that of the chosen ally, but she can still look around and activate her other abilities as normal. But it must be noted she will be taking the crowd control effects in place of her chosen resonant for the duration of her ultimate. When either the ultimate's duration or the shield health have expired, the ultimate ends. If the shield health is depleted, Echo is forced from her resonant in the direction she is facing, but if the ultimate completes its duration, Echo dashes in this direction instead. 1 or 2 further particularities before we get into the stats, because that obviously sounds a bit nuts at this point. The whole point about the hard crowd control is that Echo again will take the crowd control for this chosen ally throughout the duration. However, this does not extend to forced movement, so only statuses such as stuns and freezes will be affecting Echo only. Things like a Lucio boop will affect the core player chosen, and therefore Echo herself as well. The best example I think I can give to make this clear is Roadhog Hook. If Echo uses Resonant Echo on an ally Genji for instance, if a Roadhog hooks the Genji, both the Echo and the Genji will be pulled, but only the Echo will be stunned, and the Genji will be able to act still while he is being moved forcibly. So into the stats and proper particularities. Resonant Echo is targeted by softlock, similar to Ana's nano boost. Upon activation, there is a 1 second cast time as you physically travel from your current location to the target ally. This has a maximum cast time of 1 second because the maximum cast range is 35 meters, and your movement speed during this cast is an incredibly fast 35 meters per second. This cast time and the cast time for the dash at the end of the ultimate can both be interrupted by stuns, etc. So you should be careful when you use it. But once you have used it, and you have connected to your resonant ally, they gain 1000 shield health and status immunity. Echo herself has her movement limited to that ally's movement, but she can still look around and activate her other abilities as normal. This counts as a transformation ultimate ultimately, even though it starts and ends with cast time functions. It should be noted that the 1000 shield health is essentially shared by both the resonant ally and Echo herself, and as mentioned, if it is depleted, Echo will be split from her ally in the direction she is facing. The transformation itself lasts 6 seconds, so the whole ultimate will last just over 7 seconds in total. As the dash finisher has you travelling 7 meters, the range of a tracer blink, over 0.2 seconds, half the speed of a tracer blink, but the exact same speed that you were travelling in the cast time that activated Resonant Echo in the first place. So this is a pretty complicated, pretty masochistic ultimate. I believe it can be used both offensively and defensively, but as it is single target, you are going to have to choose your targets wisely. It does have some pretty powerful effects, but I believe that the removal of your own agency goes quite a way to mitigate this. So all told, this hopefully should feel, as I said at the beginning, like a combination between Lucio, Moira and Ana. If this is possibly too powerful, there are several changes that could be made, such as lowering their base healing output to move them more towards a utility off support rather than a main support with utility. You could also look at removing some of the extra effects from Sonic's Sigh, for instance. And the CC immunity portion of Resonant Echo could certainly be reconsidered if that's deemed far too powerful, as it maybe has one or two anomalous interactions with things like Reinhardt's charge. The outcomes could be designed for, but there's no certain obvious outcome just looking at how the two abilities should interact. And even though I said I wasn't going to do this one, a very brief story note, this build of Echo I can see maybe having been a human at some point, maybe a singer, and their memories have been stored in an Omnic, who can now sing songs that she learned as a human to remind herself who she once was. Or we go completely the other way, and she was maybe the first Omnic to ever show creativity through singing, and that is why she was locked away all those years ago. Could she maybe be the link between Vishkar and Lucio's father's sonic technology, if that's the case there? Unsure, there's plenty of story routes to take this iteration of Echo, I believe. There's no one certain way to go with it. Although those backgrounds do kind of lead me to believing she'll be more of a confident and sassy iteration of the character we've met thus far, while obviously ultimately being rather altruistic and caring, as most supports obviously are, to an extent. And so, that brings us to the end. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves today with this first of 5 Echo concerts I'm going to be releasing over the next few weeks. Theoretically, she's going to be released at Blizzcon, so I've got some work to do. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, The Reclusive Echo, The Shifting Spider, as we examine my first of the 2 tank builds for Echo that I've made. But for now, I will have to bid you farewell. Thank you again for staying with me all this time. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy what I've been doing here, because I'm going to be doing more of it, and that could be something you might like to see. But with that, I've been Euclidean Vision, the emotional support, resonating with stand-to power. Go in peace, my friends, and may the glorious light of Best Girl shine within you. Peace.